The atmosphere inside the venue shifted in an instant, the kind of shift that doesn't come from lighting cues or sound effects, but from something far more unexpected. What began as a routine segment quickly transformed into one of the most talked about moments involving BTS in recent memory. Standing under the bright stage lights, the members appeared relaxed, smiling, and fully in control, until a single object changed everything. At the center of the stage sat a carefully wrapped box labeled "Special Gift for BTS." The words alone were enough to trigger curiosity across the audience, but what followed pushed that curiosity into genuine anticipation. Jimmy Fallon, known for his playful unpredictability, stepped forward with a grin that hinted at something far beyond a simple gift exchange. From the very first second, RM's expression subtly shifted. As the leader, he maintained composure, but his eyes revealed a sharp awareness, as if he already sensed that this moment would carry more weight than expected. Jin, standing beside him, leaned slightly forward, his usual confident charm replaced by a flicker of intrigue. This was not just another variety segment. Suga remained quiet, observing with a calm intensity, his gaze locked on the box. J-Hope, on the other hand, couldn't hide his excitement, his energy rising as the moment built. Jimin's soft smile turned into a focused stare, while V's expression grew unusually serious, his curiosity clearly taking over. Jungkook, the youngest, stood slightly closer, his attention fully drawn, as if instinctively preparing for something meaningful. The room grew quieter. Fallon gestured toward the box, inviting BTS to open it themselves. The simplicity of the gesture made the moment even more powerful. There were no dramatic announcements, no exaggerated build-up, just a silent understanding that whatever was inside mattered. As the lid was slowly lifted, the shift in energy became undeniable. The members' expressions changed almost simultaneously. Jin's eyes widened first, followed by Jimin covering his mouth in disbelief. J-Hope took a step back, laughing in shock, while Jungkook leaned in closer, trying to process what he was seeing. RM's composure cracked for a brief second, replaced by pure surprise, and even Suga, known for his calm demeanor, showed a rare, visible reaction. V remained still, but his gaze deepened, as if the meaning behind the gift had already reached him. This was not a typical present. The reaction spread instantly beyond the stage. Armies in the audience erupted, their voices rising in a wave of emotion that filled the entire space. The moment didn't feel scripted. It felt real, raw, and unexpectedly powerful. What made the situation even more compelling was the contrast between expectation and reality. A special gift could have meant anything: merchandise, a symbolic item, or even a playful joke. But this carried emotional weight. It connected directly to BTS's journey, their history, and the bond they share not only with each other, but with their fans worldwide. Jungkook's reaction stood out as he carefully reached toward the contents, his movement slower, more deliberate. It was as if he understood that this wasn't something to rush. Jimin stayed close, his expression softening, while J-Hope's energy turned into something more emotional, less explosive, and more reflective. RM began speaking quietly, though the noise of the crowd made his words almost impossible to hear. Still, his tone alone revealed everything. This moment mattered deeply. Jin, often known for his humor, remained silent for a rare stretch of time, simply absorbing what was in front of him. Suga crossed his arms, nodding slightly, a subtle gesture that carried more meaning than words. V's gaze shifted between the object and the audience, as if connecting both sides of the experience. Every member responded differently, but one thing was clear: this was a shared moment that touched each of them in a unique way. The camera captured every detail: the subtle glances, the unspoken communication between the members, the way they instinctively moved closer together. It wasn't just about what was inside the box. It was about what it represented. And as the realization settled in, the atmosphere transformed once again. This was no longer just a surprise. It was a moment that would be remembered. The emotional impact of the reveal didn't fade, it deepened. As the initial shock settled, the true meaning behind this special gift for BTS began to unfold in a way that no one had fully anticipated. The members, still gathered closely around the box, shifted from surprise into reflection, each reaction adding another layer to the moment. RM stepped slightly forward, his leadership instinctively guiding the group as he examined the contents more carefully. His expression, now more composed, carried a sense of recognition. This wasn't just a gift, it was a message. Something intentional. Something designed to resonate. Jin finally broke his silence, his voice lighter but still touched with disbelief. His reaction brought a brief sense of familiarity back into the moment, yet even he couldn't fully mask how deeply he was affected. The usual humor was there, but it was softer, more restrained. Suga's attention remained fixed, his thoughtful gaze suggesting he was processing the significance beyond the surface. J-Hope, standing slightly behind, nodded repeatedly, his emotional response evolving into something quieter, more grounded. Jimin's eyes reflected a mix of gratitude and amazement, while V's expression remained introspective, as though he was connecting the present moment to memories from the past. Jungkook, perhaps the most visibly moved, stayed closest to the box. His reaction carried a sense of sincerity that resonated instantly with the audience. There was no performance in his expression, just genuine emotion. The audience, sensing the depth of the moment, responded in kind. The cheers softened into something more unified, almost as if everyone present understood they were witnessing something rare. Not just a surprise, but a connection between artist and experience that couldn't be replicated. Jimmy Fallon, usually at the center of the energy, stepped back slightly, allowing BTS to fully own the moment. His role shifted from host to observer, recognizing that what was happening on stage had moved beyond entertainment. The significance of the gift became clearer through the members' reactions. It symbolized milestones, memories, and the journey BTS has taken from their early beginnings to becoming global icons. But more importantly, it reflected the bond that has remained constant throughout that journey. The camera focused on the smallest details, the way RM placed a hand on Jungkook's shoulder, the way Jin glanced at each member as if silently sharing the moment, the way Jimin and V exchanged a brief look that said everything without words. Suga's quiet nod and J-Hope's softened smile completed the picture. This wasn't just about the past. It was about everything BTS represents in the present. As the segment continued, the members gradually returned to their usual energy, but something had shifted. The laughter felt more meaningful, the smiles more grounded. The moment had left a mark, not dramatic, not overwhelming, but undeniable. The audience's reaction mirrored that transformation. What started as excitement turned into appreciation. The kind of appreciation that comes from witnessing authenticity in an environment often defined by performance. The special gift for BTS had done more than surprise them. It had reminded everyone watching, both in the venue and around the world, why BTS continues to resonate on such a massive scale. Not because of spectacle alone, but because of moments like this. Moments where the line between artist and human disappears, leaving something real in its place. And in the end, it wasn't the size of the gift or the surprise itself that mattered most. It was that one small detail, the one that changed everything. The moment should have ended there, neatly wrapped as another unforgettable segment in a long list of iconic BTS appearances. But instead of fading out, the atmosphere continued to evolve, revealing something even more compelling beneath the surface. What had already felt meaningful began to take on a deeper narrative, one that extended beyond the stage, beyond the cameras, and into the legacy BTS has been building for years. As the members carefully placed the contents of the box back in position, their movement slowed, almost deliberate, as if they understood the weight of what had just happened. RM exchanged a brief glance with Jin, a silent acknowledgement that didn't need translation. It was the kind of communication built through years of shared experience, something armies have come to recognize instantly. Jin, now more composed, stepped slightly forward, his presence once again balancing the group's energy. His expression carried a mix of pride and reflection, as though the moment had reminded him of something deeply personal. The playful confidence he's known for returned, but it was layered with something more grounded. Suga shifted his stance, his attention still anchored to the meaning behind the gift rather than the spectacle itself. His subtle nods and quiet demeanor suggested a deeper internal process, one that didn't need to be verbalized to be understood. J-Hope, standing nearby, began to reintroduce his signature energy, but even his movements carried a new sense of intention. Jimin's expression softened into a calm smile, the kind that signals emotional clarity rather than surprise. He glanced briefly toward the audience, as if sharing the moment not just with the members, but with everyone watching. V remained introspective, his gaze steady, absorbing the significance in a way that felt almost cinematic. Jungkook, still closest to the center of the moment, took a step back, allowing the full group to come back into formation. His expression had shifted from shock to quiet understanding, marking a subtle but powerful transition. It was clear that whatever had been revealed inside that box had left a lasting impression. The audience, still fully engaged, responded with a renewed wave of energy. But this time, it wasn't just excitement, it was recognition. Recognition of growth, of history, of a journey that continues to evolve in ways that remain unpredictable. Jimmy Fallon re-entered the space carefully, his timing precise. Rather than interrupting, he aligned himself with the tone that BTS had set. His presence added continuity, but the focus remained exactly where it belonged on the members and the moment they had just experienced. The conversation that followed carried a different rhythm. It wasn't rushed or overly scripted. Instead, it flowed naturally, shaped by the emotional undercurrent that still lingered. Each member contributed in their own way, their voices blending into a collective narrative that felt both personal and universal. RM's words carried clarity, reinforcing the significance of connection and shared experience. Jin added warmth, bringing balance with his unique blend of sincerity and lightness. Suga's input remained thoughtful and precise, while J-Hope's energy helped lift the atmosphere without diminishing its depth. Jimin's tone reflected gratitude, his words resonating with a quiet strength. V's perspective added a reflective layer, while Jungkook's sincerity grounded the entire exchange. Together, they created something that went beyond entertainment, a moment of genuine communication. The cameras continued to capture every detail, but it was the unspoken elements that stood out the most. The way the members stood closer than before. The way their expressions aligned. The way their energy moved as one. This was BTS at their core. Not just performers, but individuals connected by something stronger than the stage. And once it was seen, it couldn't be unseen.